James+Joyce 1882–1941. Joyce biography. Born on February 2, 1882, Groundhog Day. Eldest of 10, middle-class family's gradual descent. Down socioeconomic ladder. Jesuit education, Clongowes Boarding School. Belvedere High School, University College at Trinity. Irish nationalist movement, celebration of Irish culture/identity over English colonization. End of a portrait of the artist as a young man. Stephen Daedalus, JJ's alter ego, leaves Ireland for continent, 1902, to escape the nets/trappings of Ireland, fathers, and to forge in the smithy of my soul the uncreated conscience of my race. Joyce returns to Dublin shortly after leaving due to mother's impending death. Thus begins Ulysses. June 16, 1904 meets Nora Barnacle, Bloomsday. 1904, leaves Ireland for continent, Zurich, Trieste, Rome. Paris, though never really leaves Dublin, subject of all his writings. Dubliners, 1914, Portrait, 1916, Ulysses, 1922, Finnegan's Wake, 1939. 2 children, married, 1931, loses eyesight, dies 1941, buried in Zurich, Switzerland. Dubliners, publishing. 1906, printer objected to offensive aspects of two Gallants. 1907–08, rejected by 5 publishers. 1909, accepted by Dublin publisher. 1910, before publication, more objections, this time to references to real people and places in Dublin, and to Ivy Day references to sex life of Edward VII. 1912, after publication delays, publisher again refused to print it. First edition burned by publisher, but Joyce managed to obtain a set of proofs from this edition. 1914, finally published by a London publisher. 1916, published in New York. 10 years of my life have been consumed in correspondence and litigation about my book Dubliners. It was rejected by 40 publishers, 3 times set up, and once burned. It cost me about 3,000 francs in postage, fees, train and boat fare, for I was in correspondence with 110 newspapers, 7 solicitors, 3 societies, 40 publishers, and several men of letters about it. All refused to aid me, except Ezra Pound. In the end it was published, in 1914, word for word as I wrote it in 1905. James+Joyce, 1917, Dubliners, Organization. Childhood, The Sisters. An Encounter. Araby. Adolescence, Eveline. After the Race. 2 Gallants. The Boarding House. Maturity, A Little Cloud. Counterparts. Clay. A Painful Case. Public Life, Ivy Day in the Committee Room. A Mother. Grace. Coda, The Dead. Dubliners, Style and Theme. Poetic technique. Like Poe, Hemingway, Joyce was first a lyric poet. Hence, compression and intensity of lyric poetry. Reliance on image, a fraction of experience containing emotional and intellectual power. Let the effect trail off without comment. Joyce never draws attention and is never involved in helping us. Joyce demands that the reader puts details together and find greater unity/meaning. Joyce forces us to read at a level we've never read before. In a sense, we become co-creators in Joyce's stories. Like Flaubert, no authorial intrusion, actions speak for themselves. Finally, Joyce is to traditional narrative fiction what a collage is to traditional realistic painting, or what a montage is to traditional linear narrative film. 2. Epiphany. Feast of Epiphany, celebrates recognition of divinity in the Christ child. In other words, the Epiphany celebrates the recognition of the spiritual in an ordinary setting. For Joyce, epiphanies occur in common, everyday moments, the explosion of meaning in something quite normal, or, as he puts it, the sudden revelation of the whatness of the thing. Transformation of the actual/real into the abstract/symbol. Like the transubstantiation of bread/wine into something holy, Joyce fancies himself a secular priest, transubstantiating the trivial into something meaningful. Joyce's religion equals art. Joyce to his brother Stanislaus, do you see that man who has just skipped out of the way of the tram? Consider if he had been run over, how significant every act of his would at once become. It is my idea of the significance of trivial things, that I want to give 2 or 3 unfortunate wretches who may eventually read me.